Shalom, family trendsetter. I'm driving. We'll hear some noise in the background. Anyway, back at you with another video. In today's video, I want to talk about carbon tax. But before I go into that, I noticed today they had a protest in D.C. in front of Donald Trump Hotel, International Hotel. And they shut down a lot of stores. Not stores, but actually streets that affect the businesses down there. Stores is being affected because, you have people going in that area to patronize the businesses, but because of this protest, it affected these businesses. And for me, I look at things from a different perspective. You see, I've been telling y'all in the past that this kingdom is about to come to an end. Okay, everything that you see going on right now is basically just a distraction. Everything. I'm talking about even the hurricane that occurred in the Bahamas, and I want to touch a little bit on that as well. But this protest that's going on worldwide with this climate change thing going on is all a distraction. Because for me, climate change has been occurring for decades. You know what I'm saying? These devils are the one that's behind the climate change. I remember like 3 years ago, I was watching a documentary where you had China literally seeding the clouds for it to rain on the rice paddy. You know what I'm saying? So back then, you had the China, and I'm sure that's been going on. They said it's been going on for years, decades. Chinese was actually seeding the clouds to make it rain on the rice paddy. Because, we get our rice primarily, from China. And India as well, but, primarily China. So you have now people, I guess, being aware or taking notice that the climate is being affected. You have, different areas of the world being affected by the climate change because the earth is actually, the atmosphere is warming up. And I believe they're using this HARP system, this weather modification machine to create climate change. You know what I'm saying? And now the world is taking notice because, see, for me, the reason why I believe they're taking notice because there's a group of people on this planet that's dying out. I'm trying to be politically correct in this video because I don't want them to censor in this video. But you do have a group of people that the Most High is taking out. Now, a lot of people might say, well, no, the weather is being manipulated. And I do agree. But the Most High uses evil to carry out evil. Okay? As I've mentioned before in my past video, we are living in hell. Y'all refer to as earth. We're living under a firmament, a dome, if you will. We're a spiritual being cast away from the Most High. Our punishment is being carried out here on hell. Y'all refer to as earth. And we have wardens and CO. It's almost like when you go to prison or jail, right? In prison and jail, you have a CO and you have wardens. The CO is a guard, for those of you who know what CO is, correctional officers, right? And they oversee the prisoners. But while they're in the prison system, while they're under that building, I should say, they're actually in prison too. The CO are actually in prison too, because let's say they have an 8-hour shift or a 12-hour shift. For 12 hours every day, these COs, officers, correctional officers, are in the same environment as the prisoners, right? Same environment. So they themselves are actually prisoners for 8 or 12 hours. The only difference is they might have an opportunity to take a break, probably go outside to get some fresh air, but they still got to come back and oversee the prisoner. So it's the same thing with here on earth, right? We are free to go and come, but we're still trapped under this dome, this firmament. And you have the so-called government officials that's overseeing us. You have the politician, which is the COs, the correctional officers, and then you have the presidents and the world leaders. They're like the wardens. But the thing that we forget is that we're here as judgment, right? And our crime against the Most High is sin, and the punishment is death. So it's almost like when you're in prison once again, you're on death row. And a lot of times you appeal, and appealing basically means when you ask the Most High for forgiveness and you repent from your sins. So the Most High extends you another days or weeks or years or whatever based on that appeal. So it's the same thing in prison. But eventually, your appeal is going to run out, family. Your appeal is going to run out, and you're going to have to face the death penalty. So it's the same thing with us. Everybody here have something in common. One day, we will have to face the death penalty, right? The death. We have to face death. Everybody, including your children, your husband, your wives. One day we gonna all have to die. I don't know how we're gonna die, but we're gonna have to face death. So that's the thing that I want y'all to understand. Life is a big old play. The Most High is the director of this play, and we all have a part to play in this play called life. Okay, we're a spiritual being, right? Cast away from the Most High. We're here on earth. Well, y'all refer to as earth. I refer to as hell. And the judgment and punishment is being carried out. Now, we do have some of us that's in better position here in hell, because hell is a condition. Okay, some of us may have homes, cars, be able to go on vacation, because maybe the judgment is not as severe as some of us that's homeless, don't have nowhere to live, in the elements, don't have nothing to eat. You know what I'm saying? Because based on your crime against the Most High, the sin against the Most High, he punish you. I was explaining to my daughter the other day. She was asking me. She said, "Daddy, are we rich?" And I was like, "Hell no, we're not rich." I said, "Why you ask?" And she said, "Oh, because we have, I'm not trying to be braggadocious. I'm just explaining the situation." She said, "Oh, because we have a nice house, and you guys have different cars, and I know one of my friends, they come to school, and sometimes it look like they don't have lunch. And, I know they're not rich because, sometimes I have to share my food with them." And I felt my heart just dropped. And I said, "No, baby, we're not rich. We're just, getting by. We're just surviving." I said, "We're living beyond our means oftentimes." And she said, "What does that mean?" I told her, I said, "Because we want to, portray a life that we really can't afford. Sometimes we go and we put ourselves in debt because we want to keep up with the Joneses." So I pretty much broke it down to her for her to understand. So when she explained to me that her friend sometimes don't have any food to eat, and when they go to the lunchroom, I guess for these kids that can't afford a lunch meal, or parents can't afford to send food, they just give them jelly sandwich. They used to give them peanut butter and jelly, but they're not allowed to have peanut. So what I do now for the last, I think, month or two, I've been actually packing double lunch, because I don't let her eat the school lunch, that garbage that they give our children. So I pack double lunch, and I say to her, "Listen, is your book bag heavy?" And she said, "No, Dad, it's okay," because I teach my daughter to share. So oftentimes whenever I pack a sandwich, healthy sandwich, I'll pack two. And I'll say to her, "Look, make sure so-and-so get this." Sometimes she'll come and say, "Oh, she had food today, so I went ahead and gave it to somebody else." Because you'd be surprised how many people, man, family, I'm telling you, man. But I know I'm off topic, so let me get back on topic. But yes, for the record, I do pack double lunch for her to share. And believe it or not, her friend is actually a Caucasian. So that shows you I'm not racist. A lot of y'all believe I'm not racist. Okay? I might be biased when it comes to certain people, because I know that ultimately the dominant, so-called people that's over us, well, so they say they're dominant, but they're not. They're wicked as hell. And that's why a lot of times I talk about them. But for the most part, I have compassion for everyone. So back on topic. So they're talking about climate change. I made a video 2.5 years ago telling y'all soon enough we're going to be paying for the air that we breathe. And I promise you, family, it's going to happen. Because they're gonna have what is called carbon tax. That's where they're going to tax you for the emission that's coming out of your vehicle that, according to them, is polluting the air. Trust me when I tell you this. Do y'all know today that people actually pay for air? You ever see people walk around with these oxygen tanks that have respiratory problems? Do you know how much money they have to pay to get these tanks refilled? It is that serious. They put a price tag, family, on our lives. This is why I tell you, man, this place right here, we refer to as Earth, this is hell. I don't care what nobody say. But I know I kind of strayed off topic. I wanted to talk more about this carbon tax. But for those of you who are not aware of carbon tax, just go ahead and Google it, research on what I'm talking about. You'll understand what I'm saying. And this so-called climate change protest that's happening worldwide is all a distraction. Because there's something major that's about to happen, family. I'm telling you, 2019 is going to be a year that everybody is going to be talking about. For those of us who will survive this year. All right? But I'm not going to continue too long because I don't want to run out of recording time. But I just want y'all to prepare for the worst and expect the best. If you have money in the bank, pull it out. Start stacking up on food items, non-perishable food items, oodles and noodles, ramen noodles, matches, flashlight, batteries, because I'm telling you, we're going to need it, especially when we go in the wilderness. Now, I want y'all to stay tuned for the next video. I want to talk about the Haitians. Okay, why exactly are these people demonized? And who's really behind it? All right, family. Well, with that, I appreciate the fact that y'all take time to listen to me. And I'm going to end this video by saying peace and blessing and a special shalom to all of my subscribers. Shalom.